Hey there, this is Jack. This is this week's video. I'm not sure if we have a topic for this week. We haven't had for the last couple, so I think it's because people are busy. But, my Netflix is weird and not loading right now, but I guess what I was going to talk about was hobbies. Hobbies, I think it's super important to have hobbies, especially when you're transitioning. A lot of people tend to build their identity around being trans once they come out, which is fine because they're super excited and they embrace it. However, sometimes that leads you to be disappointed once you feel like you've gotten through if you feel like there's a point for that for you, your transition. So like after you've had your surgeries, like if you've built yourself up to be trans and now you don't really consider yourself trans anymore, you're basically a cis male, then a cis male with a transsexual history, it's kind of hard, I guess, because you've built your life around this. So now what do you do? What do you go for? So that to combat that, just stay interested in hobbies. The Gender Center Project San Diego group I'm doing is pretty focused on making sure everyone has hobbies. We're actually gonna try to meet next weekend, which would be pretty damn awesome. But like other hobbies, like for me, my hobbies are horror, so horror movies, some horror video games, stuff like that. What other hobbies do I have? Um, Comedy shows like 30 Rock, that kind of thing. And then activism is another hobby of mine, though I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't take over my life because I'm more than being trans as well. um, I go to the gym. I have kitties. I have a lot of hobbies. I'm trying to make sure that when I finish my transition, that I don't feel like I have nothing to do because my life revolved around it. I think it's very important to make sure that you don't have to have your life revolve around it because you're more than your gender, just like any other person. Um, Another topic I know we talked about a couple weeks ago was sex. I have interesting thoughts on that. One of them being it's weird to talk about sex to people who are potentially underage. So liability wise, I'm saying now, I don't condone sex in for those underage. Blah blah blah. Um, with sex, it took a while for me and Alex, I guess, because I was afraid she would see me as female on under clothing. Um, and I got over that with her. We talked about it. She understood. Alex understands a lot about dysphoria because she gets dysphoric about her body sometimes in relation to how she thinks it needs or how she feels it needs to look. Obviously, it's not the same as trans dysphoria, but she does sort of connect to me on that level. Um, she and I also have some other hobbies. We go dancing with our friends who are my friends are all well, Alex and my friends are all goths, so I'm like the little ray of sunshine that doesn't belong. Sometimes I feel like it's good to have friends too because they can help you get into other hobbies. I bought an Xbox a couple weeks ago, and it terrifies the shit out of me because I bought Silent Hill for it. But it's still pretty fun, even though freaking things happen. Like for some reason, he'll throw away his hatchet and pick up a beer bottle, and I'm like, "No, stop! You're going to die! You're going to die!" It's a stressful game, but there's I don't know. I just think it's important to realize that there's more to you than being trans, and to do that, and to make sure that you have stuff to do for the rest of your life after you feel like your transition's complete, and you don't necessarily want to be super immersed in the trans community. Don't reject it, but you don't want to be immersed in it. Then be helpful to have other things to do, like cosplay. I have friends who do cosplay, or art, or throwing yourself into school, getting a new job. It doesn't matter, just something to help you be beyond that. Back to the sex thing. Always use protection, even if you're using a toy, because they're porous, even if you can't see it, and bad shit can get stuck inside them, like diseases and whatnot. And so always use protection condoms. Don't try to use a soft packer for sex. That won't work out. You can technically, but it's kind of painful. They make pack-and-play ones that you can wear for both, but it looks kind of like you have an erection all the time. But other than that, I guess that's all I have to say on these matters. Um, I'm still waiting for more topics, but I'm sure they'll come up. So, sorry about that. I just woke up. This is Jack, and I'll see you next week.